Yo, we're back. It's another episode of the Fantasy. Got Mech in here. Got Sean P in here. Sean, what it do,
You
bro?
know what it do, bro.
Yeah,
Week one fantasy football is a wrap.
yeah. Week one is in the books. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, everybody, you know what I'm saying, did what they needed to do. We had a lot of surprises, a lot of surprises in the bad sense. You know what I'm saying? We just talked about A
Yeah.
Rod. You know what I'm saying? So there was a lot of some duds out there for sure. Right, real quick, like who would you say was the biggest surprise of week one for you?
What I'm gonna say the biggest disappointment for me was Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
Two point
facts.
nine fantasy points
Yeah,
against Minnesota, a team that he usually
dogs.
destroys.
Yeah,
Like that was the biggest disappointment for me. The biggest we're looking in the positive note,
like
James
positive
Robinson.
surprise. Yeah,
James Robinson for the Jaguars. Two
yeah.
touchdowns, 60 yards, got more work than ETN. That
Hmm.
really surprised me. I thought ETN was going to take over the job. Like during the game, ETN had some plays where I'm like, all right, James Robinson not getting no more burn.
Oh,
But
really?
but then he had a play where he dropped a touchdown, short
Yeah.
touchdown.
That's what I was gonna
So
say. Yeah, I feel like I saw some plays what because I watched the game, but it wasn't until I was looking back at the highlights where I was like, and people were kind of critiquing Etienne like
yeah,
on Twitter and stuff like that, like, oh, like, he dropped this pass here, he fucked up on this pass protection
yeah,
here, like, so things like that. People were like, oh, like James Robinson kind of like played himself into that,
yeah,
like, or maybe Travis played himself out of more
yeah. That's what he
opportunities.
did. And James
Yeah.
James Robinson had a crazy block in the game too, like protecting Trevor
Hmm.
Lawrence. That goes a
Hmm.
long way too. So
For sure. For
that
sure.
that was my biggest surprise right there. Like in a positive note, James Robinson almost he
Yeah.
had 19.9 fantasy points
Yeah.
out the gate. I wasn't expecting that coming off the Achilles tear.
Hmm.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
had a
Shout
good
out
game.
James Robinson. So what we doing today? First of all, if you're here, subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying? Help us get to that first 100 subscribers that we're trying to get to. So yeah, just go subscribe. We got a lot of content that we're gonna be pushing out all season long. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you got your fucking notifications on, so you know that when we do live streams like this one and other joints in the future. We're gonna have a schedule of Tuesdays, our regular live show on Wednesday, and then a Q&A show on Sunday mornings. So definitely tap in with us and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then also subscribe to the podcast anywhere that you listen to podcasts. You see our socials down there in the corner. Give us a follow there. Today we're gonna get into the opening lines of all the games that we have for this slate, week two. This is kind of like week two. This is where, you know what I'm saying, we kind of really see what's going on with these offenses. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna see like who's really supposed to be getting the workloads and everything like that. Week one is really like that time when you kind of see like
It's
what's
like
going
the
on.
wait and see, like
100%.
what's going to go on. You got the players
100%.
that is going to get the touches and be involved, but then there's the players like you like. I don't know. I need to wait and
No.
see.
Like
So
coach has been saying all offseason, it's going to be, a two-headed monster. And then we
yeah,
got week one. This guy gets the bulk of the carries and this guy gets
exactly.
nowhere. I saw something crazy on Twitter that was showing like so a lot of those like running back duos that was kind of being talked about in the offseason, it showed week one, like what the actual like snap count and what the
Yeah,
actual
the
like
split teams
share
did.
was. Like I
Yeah,
saw it was interesting between Michael Carter and Brees Hall. Like Michael Carter got a lot of
like
that
he
work.
got he
You know what
got a
I'm
lot of the
saying?
work. Even
Yeah.
like AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones,
Yeah.
like it's
AJ
like
got a lot of
50-50
that work.
split over
Oh
there.
yeah, no,
Like
yeah, fact. That was a fact. That was a fact. Yeah.
it's like
But
50-50 split.
yeah, so
And
like week one, week one is what like we needed to see, so that I even going back to last week's episode, a lot of what y'all were saying was like, yeah, we got to wait and see with this guy. Like I like this guy, but we got to see how it's going to be
gotta wait
used.
and see, man.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get right into it. We got the first game, Chargers at the Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by 4. The over under is 54.5. So those guys in Vegas, they definitely expect it to be a shootout. Which two high powered offenses, of course. So it will be a shootout, I'm sure. But as far as like injuries and everything in this game, on the Chargers injury report, they got Keenan Allen marked as questionable. Trayvon Campbell is questionable. Donald Parham is out. J.C. Jackson is also questionable. The Chiefs have Trey Smith, their guard, questionable. Trent McDuffie, corner, he's on IR, and then Harrison Butker, was that place kicker?
Yeah, he went out early.
Questionable.
Like that's
Yeah.
he had to go out early in the game. I think in like the first quarter, they didn't have a
Damn,
kicker
that's
the whole
fucked
game.
up. Damn, that's
Damn, matter.
fucked
Pat
up.
Mahomes is fucking throwing 5 touchdown passes. Who needs a kicker? But
Yeah, but also it's like who's going to get the extra points? They got to go
who's
for 2
going
every time. Is that what they was doing? Were they going for 2 every time?
I'm not even sure. I think I'm not
Yeah.
even sure. I can't even speak on that because I'm not even
Yeah.
sure. I was at the Washington game, so I
Oh
missed
yeah,
a lot
facts.
of
So
I missed the
you
bulk
wasn't
of the
even on
1
red
o'clock
zone
game.
like you usually
Yeah,
be.
I missed the bulk of the 1 o'clock game.
In this Chargers Chiefs game, this is on Thursday too, so you guys may be mindful. You know, there's a lot of offense in this game. Make sure you fucking set your lineup before Thursday. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
this
to
is a
speak
Thursday
on
game. Who do you like in this joint?
I mean, I like I'm gonna speak on the injuries first.
Okay,
Keenan Allen got hurt last week with a hamstring. So with the short week, the coach says, he's doing okay, but I doubt he'll play this game. He's questionable right now, but I think he'll be out of this game. So if you're on the waiver wire, Joshua Palmer is a guy to look out for. If you need to pick somebody up, if you got Keenan Allen, you need a receiver for this week. Joshua Palmer is a guy to pick up. The players I like Austin Eckler for sure in this game. I like Justin Herbert. Like you said, I feel like it's going to be a shootout. On the Kansas City side of the ball, I don't know. Pat Mahomes has been spreading the ball out. I love Pat Mahomes. But anyone else, you don't know if it's going to be Juju, Mecole Hardman. Clyde Edwards-Helaire went off last week. That was a surprise. 2 touchdowns.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire showing. Yeah,
Clyde went off last week.
Crazy. Outside of that, because Twan had him on his sit-ems. Outside the 2 touchdowns, he was kind of just regular. But 2 touchdowns goes a long way.
But yeah, 100%. Of course, I like Travis Kelce in this game. I feel like he's going to have another big game. He had, I think, 122 yards in the tug last week. So Travis Kelce is going to be another factor with playing with Pat Mahomes. Juju Smith-Schuster, he played okay last week, But Pat Mahomes said you never know which any given week it could be Juju, could be Mecole Hardman. It's always going to be Travis Kelce.
Always.
With the Chiefs receivers this year, I think he's just going to spread the ball and find the open man. He's not going to force it to anyone. He has no Tyreek Hill out there. So those are the players I like in this game. The spread is -4, Kansas City. I think that's about right. They're at home this week. Yeah. So I like the spread in this game.
Yeah, I think
54.5. Watch, it's going to be more defense played in this game than people think. They want you to pick that over. They want you to pick that over.
Yeah. I do. I don't know. I don't know. I see a lot of offense in this one. I think this is a bet I'm gonna put in, but I think Austin Eckler gets 2 touchdowns this week. He had nothing. He had nothing last week. I feel like and they scored a lot. They scored a lot of touchdowns last week, and Austin Eckler got none of them. And I needed him to get a touchdown last week. That's why I know. Because I was like, I'm sure he gets a touchdown this week. So I know I think he gets at least 1, but I'm gonna put a bet for 2 because I like the numbers on that. But let's move on to the Commanders at the Lions. We got Detroit favored by 2.5 points. The over
Detroit's favorite in this one. That's surprising.
Yeah.
I might have
over
to
under is 49.5.
Commanders for sure, man. I'm not a betting man.
I was thinking about that because I'm not gonna hold you. I liked what I saw out of Washington last week.
I loved it.
I liked what I saw out of them. And I like my brain wanted to be like, chill out. They're playing the Jaguars, but like this Jaguars team isn't the Jaguars team that it was last year. You know what I'm saying? Like I think this is a better overall Jaguars team. And the Jaguars fought like. It looked like the Redskins weren't gonna, or it looked like the Commanders weren't gonna win that game. At one point. So I did like the fight, and I did like how the offense looked with Carson Wentz back there. And I just been kind of saying the whole time, like I probably been vocal about like I don't really like Carson Wentz, but it's more of just like I had to just like see it. I'm not just gonna be sold off of the signing. You know what I'm saying? And I like what I saw. Like that's basically it. I like what I saw.
He showed a lot of poise. He threw 2 bonehead interceptions, but he came back. Stayed in the pocket, hit my man Jahan Dotson for the game winner.
Man, this nigga threw 4 TDs.
4 tugs.
Yeah, that's
Players I like in this game. I like Curtis Samuels again. Like the Swift Army knife. He's gonna do it all. He's gonna be in the backfield. He's gonna take reverses. He's gonna catch passes. I really like Curtis Samuels. Of course, I like Terry McLaurin in this game also. I like Antonio Gibson in this game.
Yeah.
I like all the
Like you
specialty
said
players
last
in the
week.
game.
Yeah, like you
Like
said
Amon
last week.
St. Brown for the Lions. I like DeAndre Swift in this game. So I think it's gonna be a lot of fantasy points scored in this game. Also, I feel like it's gonna be a high scoring game. Um, both defenses are a little shaky.
Yeah.
The Lions more than the Commanders.
I mean,
We gave
looking
up
at what
we
the
gave up a
Eagles,
lot of yards last week, but we didn't give up.
yeah, a lot of touchdowns.
Those touchdowns. We
Yeah.
held strong in the red zone. So
Yeah, looking at the fucking looking at how the Eagles ran all over Detroit last
yeah,
week, I definitely
Antonio
like
Gibson, big
Antonio
game.
Gibson
He's on
this
my
week.
team.
Yeah, I
I need
definitely
it
like Antonio Gibson to have a big game this week.
for sure.
As far as the injuries go, let me get through that real quick. Wes Schweitzer questionable, Jonathan Allen questionable, Cameron Curl questionable, Cole Turner questionable for the Commanders. For the Lions, they got Tommy Kramer questionable, Julian Aquara questionable, and Fatu Miafanwu questionable. So those are guys. Those aren't, other than the tight end Cole Turner. There's not really any skill positions that are in jeopardy for either teams. But yeah, that's the injury report on that.
I mean, but you're definitely watching for Jonathan Allen because if he's out,
That
DeAndre
affects the
Swift.
defense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so DeAndre
yeah,
Swift should have a field day if he's out. So
yeah.
Commanders, you need him back for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's move on to, we got the New York Jets at the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland is favored by 6 in this game. The over under is 40, so they're not expecting much offense at all. I don't think any of us
I don't
are.
expect it either.
Exactly. So you know what I'm saying? That was that. As far as the injuries go on this, of course they got Zach Wilson still out. Connor McDermott, offensive tackle, is questionable. For the Browns, they got Greedy Williams. He's on IR. Jack Conklin questionable. Chris Hubbard questionable, and Michael Woods the second questionable. So yeah, not much offense expected in this. I mean, even if you don't like somebody, like how should people think about this game? Like, is there anybody worth starting or sit?
Yeah, fantasy perspective, I like the Browns running backs, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. This could be a get right game for Amari Cooper going against the Jets because their secondary is not the best. I mean, they got
they're gonna have Sauce
Gardner
on that.
Yeah, Sauce Gardner out there, but he's a rookie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the only two players I like in this game is Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. I mean, I'm fading Elijah Moore for the Jets. Michael Carter and Brees Holmes. I don't like those guys because the Browns have a solid defense. The Browns defense is slept on. They're solid. So I would fade all those players in fantasy football except for Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt.
Yeah. Speaking of Amari Cooper, I feel like fucking Devin Duvernay went off in the secondary on the Jets. So like the Jets
this
secondary
could be a bounce back game for Amari Cooper for sure.
Yeah, it's a little suspect. So I can definitely see who's the other wide receiver over there in Cleveland? Anybody like worth naming? I don't even know who the other wide receivers
Peoples
are.
Jones.
Oh, Donovan Peoples Jones. Yeah,
Donovan Peoples Jones.
Yeah. One of those receivers might go off. But okay, let's move on to we got Tampa Bay at New Orleans. The Bucks are favored by 3. The over under is 44. As far as injuries go, let's see what we got. We got Donovan Smith questionable, Chris Godwin questionable, Zion McCollum questionable for the Buccaneers. For the Saints, they got Alvin Kamara on the injury report is questionable, Paulson Adebo questionable, Traquan Smith questionable, and Dwayne Washington questionable. Do you know if that Alvin Kamara thing is serious? Like, what do you know what's going on with him?
The coach came out and said it's not serious. He should be out there on Sunday. But as far as Chris Godwin, I think he's going to be out for this game with a hamstring. He just came back from the ACL, and then he got hurt with the hamstring this week and set out the rest of the game. So I think Godwin will be out for sure. They're not going to rush him back after already. I feel like he was already rushed back for week 1. Yeah, he got hurt, so they're going to take it slow with Godwin this week. I feel like he might be out.
Julio was
Julio's looking
too,
good.
So, so they don't need
we ain't gonna talk about Julio since we got him on the
we'll talk about it in a second for sure.
But yeah, Chris Godwin's definitely gonna be out this week. Alvin Kamara should be good to go this week.
Okay. So as far as matchup wise, I mean,
This
Saints defense is not only are they like, typically stout, but they
mhm,
usually have Tom Brady's number. You know
they
what I'm
do.
saying? Like they do a good job of stifling Tom Brady historically. So
Mhm.
how do you feel about guys like Tom, Mike Evans, Julio in this game?
I mean, I
And
hate
then
Mike
also on
Evans in
the
this game
yeah, go ahead.
because Lattimore
He
has Mike
usually gets
Evans'
under Mike
number.
Evans' skin.
He
Yeah,
has his
we've seen it.
number.
We've seen
So if you
it.
got Mike Evans, of course you're starting Mike Evans, but limit your expectations with Mike Evans going against Lattimore this week. Far as the running, I like Fournette this week. I feel like
Mhm.
they're going to feed Fournette the ball to balance out the passing attack. Like you said,
Yeah.
the Saints they got Tom Brady's number, so I feel like this is going to be the game. They're going to try to run, play action, play action. So I feel like Fournette is going to be highly involved in this game. Um, who else? Julio Jones. I think Julio Jones might be the one to steal the show this week because I
Yeah.
know Lattimore is going to be on Mike Evans, so Julio Jones could be the guy this week, especially with Godwin out. He's going to get targets. He got targeted last week with
He got
Godwin in there,
targeted last
so
week. Yeah.
he made some big plays. So I like Julio Jones going forward, man. He
They
looked
had him
good
on
over
end
there
arounds and shit
in the
like that.
rounds.
Like
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was,
he had
they
two
just wanted to
rushes
get
for
the ball.
17
Yeah, they
yards.
just they just
Like,
wanted to get him the ball, which I'm not mad at. I like that. So he's
yeah.
definitely involved in that offense
No, he's
just to
highly.
start.
Yeah, he's gonna. Tom Brady, like when it's high profile players like that, Tom Brady's smart. He knows like Julio needs the ball right now.
Yeah,
He
and
can
keep
see
him
it on his
happy.
face.
Like
Yeah,
you know
keep
what
him
I'm
happy.
saying?
You can see
Yeah.
it. He's like he needs the ball right now. Like
This nigga
Tom
got
knows that.
AB right as soon as he got there,
Exactly.
bro. Got him well acclimated and all of that. Like
Exactly. So
Tom
Tom
Brady
Brady
definitely knows what
knows
he's
when
doing.
people needs the ball. So I feel like
100%.
he's gonna make sure he gets Julio out the way early. As far as for the Saints, I don't know. The Bucks have a stout run defense, so if Alvin Kamara is going to get it, I feel like he's going to have to get it in the pass game. I don't feel like he's going to be able to run between the tackles in this one. Michael Thomas had welcome back. Michael Thomas had
Yeah,
two
welcome
tugs
back,
last
Michael
week.
Thomas.
Welcome
Yeah.
back, Michael Thomas had two tugs last week. It's gonna be tough out there. I mean, the Buccaneers, their corners are okay. To say, I mean, they shut Dallas down, but Dallas only has CD Lamb, so it wasn't
Hmm.
that tough. I feel like the Saints come with Jarvis Landry, Michael Thomas, Olave, the rookie. So I feel like they
Hmm.
got more options out there than
It's
the
gonna be a
Dallas
little
than the
tougher for
Cowboys
it.
had
It's gonna
last
be
week. So I
it's
feel
gonna be a
like
little tougher for them.
yeah. So I
And
like
also
Michael
like
Thomas in this game. Jarvis Landry ate up the middle of the field with like 140 yards
yeah, yeah,
last week. So
yeah. Look at
I like this.
Jameis
I
racking
like
up
the
the
Saints. I
yardage.
like the Saints in this one at home. I like the Saints
Yeah.
over the Bucks in this one.
Yeah. I'm not mad at that +3 Saints play at all because
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I feel like they kind of underperformed in Atlanta. They
Yeah.
definitely didn't expect to win on a last second field goal. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
So like I think that they also are in a bounce back. They got to prove it to themselves spot. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I feel like, and then also too, um, up until the second half of that Cowboys game, I feel like it was tough for the Buccaneers. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm-hmm.
watched the first half of that game and it didn't look like, I mean, they were doing some things, but I wasn't like, like impressed by the Bucks, if that
Nah,
makes any
not at
sense. You know
all.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I feel like this could be a good little underdog sneak spot for the Saints. This is definitely a joint I kind of circled as like I'm gonna see how I feel as the week plays out, whether I actually like place on that Saints +3, but I do like that play.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to we got Carolina Panthers at the New York Giants.
The garbage
Shit,
game of the week.
the 1-0 New York
The,
Giants.
the
I'm
one
not
and
expecting
all
them
New
to do
York
that to the
Giants.
Titans. So I'm not gonna hold you, but the Giants are favored by 2.5. The over under is 42, which is pretty low. So they're expecting a pretty defensive game or just like a non-offensive game.
Yeah, shout out
But
Saquon Barkley. Welcome
yeah,
back, Saquon Barkley.
yeah. Did he kill last week? I wasn't paying attention.
Kill.
Let me
140 in the
see. Oh yeah,
tug.
164 in the tug.
166. Oh, 164
Okay,
in the
yeah,
tug.
yeah,
Yeah, and
okay.
he got the 2 point conversion, the game winning 2 point conversion.
Oh, okay, yeah. Welcome
So
back,
Saquon
Saquon.
looked explosive last week.
Yeah. I've been hard on Saquon. I'm not gonna hold you just because like I don't. I just I don't. I'm not gonna get into it, but like
Yeah.
shout out to him for killing. Let's get the Panthers on their injury report. They got Isaiah Graham Mobley, linebacker. He's questionable. Giants got Nick McLeod, questionable. Wandale Robinson, questionable. Dane Belton, questionable. Aziz Ajulari, questionable. And Kayvon Thibodeau, questionable on their injury report. So Saquon, obviously a must start this week. Um, how is this Panthers defense? Are they good? Is there
I
is
mean,
there any
they're
worry
like
here?
for Saquon, no. I feel like the Panthers are like middle of the pack defense.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really have too many stars on their defense. I wouldn't worry about that. But Saquon's the only Giant I'm starting this week. Kenny
Yeah.
Galladay, no. Sterling Shepard, no. Kadarius Toney, no. Daniel Jones just sucks, man. He's not a good
Yeah.
quarterback. He's not
Yeah.
a fantasy guy that's going to get your guys the ball
No.
each and every week. So the only player that I want to start for the Giants is Saquon Barkley. That's it. Anybody
Okay.
else?
What
No.
about on the other side with the
For
Panthers?
the Panthers, you have Christian McCaffrey. Of course, you're starting him. You got Robbie Anderson. He went off last week, 102 in the tug for
Yeah,
Robbie
I
Anderson.
was looking at that. Like, is that Baker's guy? Like,
It looks
you
like
know
his
what I'm
guy.
saying? Like, yeah.
He led the team in targets, receptions, and yards.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
DJ Moore, you better wake up. But now I'm starting DJ Moore this week. I feel like they're gonna need
Yeah.
him this week.
I
The
mean, I
possession
feel because
guy.
like when I'm thinking about that situation, it's like okay, DJ Moore was the clear number one before Baker got there, but like I'm thinking back to Cleveland days when Baker wasn't really getting Odell the ball like that. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So I'm like, does Baker? I don't know. Like you know how we just talked about Tom Brady. Like you know what I'm saying when he knows he's got a guy, he can get that guy the ball. Is
Yeah.
Baker like? Does he have that even ability, like to just get like
No,
this is
he
the guy
does
that needs to
not.
get the ball? Can I get him the ball, or he's just more of
Nah.
just like, I'm gonna do what I'm comfortable with. You know what I'm saying?
Baker is a very inconsistent quarterback. Some weeks he will look like Tom Brady. Other weeks he'll look like Baker
Julio
Mayfield.
Jones,
But
Baker Mayfield,
he'll look like
he looked like
himself.
himself.
You know what I mean? So he's a guy
Agreed.
you can't trust Baker like each and every week. But
Yeah,
I feel like Robbie Anderson has a lot to prove from last year. So I mean, he caught a 75-yard. He was like wide open, so that
yeah.
like elevated his stats. But with Baker back there, I don't have confidence in Anderson
Like
or DJ
knowing,
Moore
yeah,
each and
yeah.
every.
It's
The
like
only
you
guy,
just hope
of
and
course,
pray.
like just like Saquon, Christian McCaffrey's like the only guy that you're like very confident in going into this game, only
Yeah,
because the quarterback play. Like the quarterback play is suspect with Carolina and New York. So you never know what you're going to get each and every week. That's
out of the
why guys
receivers.
like DJ Moore, I'm staying away from just because the quarterback. Like
Yeah,
DJ Moore is a good player, but is he that guy that's just going to make a quarterback? No.
no, no.
So
Yeah, I agree. So next we got we got Patriots Steelers next. 0-1 Patriots against the 1-0 Steelers. The Pats are favored by 1.5. The over under is 40.5. And I must just say this is also another little spot I like. I like the Steelers here.
I like the
Um,
Steelers too.
yeah, like I feel like I don't know. I can't really explain it. I just like the Steelers here. I
You
think
just got
Patriots.
this gut. Just go ahead.
Yeah,
It's
it's
your
like a
gut
gut
feeling.
thing, man. I feel like this is a good spot here for them. They're at home. They're underdogs. They're coming off a big win against Cincinnati, like a humongous win against Cincinnati. So I feel like they can keep that momentum going. The Patriots kind of I didn't like what I saw out of them against Miami, dog. Like
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, Miami's got all these new like shiny new toys and everything like that, but I did not think that they were gonna do what they did to the Patriots. Like they're the
Mhm.
Patriots. So I don't know. I feel like that could be a good spot for them. Let me pull this injury report.
I say Mac Jones got hurt.
Oh yeah, he did.
They say
Let
he's
me
straight
see.
though. X-rays were negative, but
Okay,
still.
let's see here. Okay, so we got on the injury report for the Patriots, Adrian Phillips questionable, Joshua Bledsoe questionable, Sean Wade questionable, like you said, Mac Jones questionable. For the Steelers, they got Levi Wallace questionable, Robert Spillane questionable, and Najee Harris questionable. TJ Watt is out. He's as people know. I think is he having surgery on that? What was that? His pec?
Yeah, it's Pac. Yeah, he's having
Yeah.
surgery.
Okay. So
He's about to be out like at least 6 weeks.
yeah. Najee Harris, his injury is that. Or, I'm asking you like you Adam Schefter, but as far as you know, like how serious is that? Is that a
I
thing?
mean, the reports I got, he had a foot injury Sunday, but the reports I got, he's expected to play week 2.
Okay.
They say he should be good to go for week 2. I don't know. I feel like if they hold him out, it's just for like
Security measures.
security. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but I feel like he's going to play in week 2.
Is he worth the start if he is playing?
Yes, for sure. You have to start
Yeah.
Najee Harris because the guy in our league, the league I play, he picked him at number 3. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
pick him at number 3, you got to play him. If he's
Yeah.
out there, you play him. The Patriots defense is not the same as has been in past years. Steelers offense is not the same as it's been. I feel like Najee Harris is a volume guy. Like he has to have at least 20 to 25 touches to like make something shake.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the guys I was starting this game, of course, Najee Harris. I mean, Deontay Johnson, you're starting for the Patriots. I don't want to start any Patriots player this week on offense. Like Damian Harris, Stevenson, the other running back, Jacoby Myers, Devontae Parker. I'm not starting any of those guys on my fantasy team. I don't feel like this is going to be a fantasy game. I feel like the only 2 players I'm starting out of this game is Deontay Johnson and Najee Harris for the Steelers.
Yeah. I'm
Everybody else, I'm fading.
I'm looking at the stats from Steelers this past week. They allowed 471 yards.
Sheesh.
I mean, they were playing the Bengals, but still,
like 475.
They allowed 471, 338 through the air, and 133 on the ground. That's a lot of fucking yards. So I hear what you're saying as far as like you don't like anyone on the Patriots, especially if like Mac Jones' injury is like serious and he's not playing this weekend. But if he's playing, I don't know. Like somebody, I feel like there's yards to be had against this Steelers defense. But again, like you said, you don't really know who it's going to come from or where it's going to come from. So I'm not mad at the fade right there. Next up, we got the Indianapolis Colts at the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Colts are favored by 4 points. Over under is 46.5. As far as injuries go, only Shaquille Leonard for the Indianapolis Colts is on the injury report. He's marked as questionable. Jacksonville has nobody on their injury report.
Damn.
How you feel about this game? You said a blessing?
Yeah. I mean, of course, with the Colts, Jonathan Taylor. You gotta love Jonathan Taylor this week. I mean, he had 161 last week, 31 carries. Also, Michael Pittman Jr. for the Colts. I love him. I feel like this is going to be a fantasy day for the Colts. I feel like both of those guys are going to go crazy. For the Jacksonville Jaguars, I mean, I like James Robinson again this week. I feel like ETN is going to bounce back this week also. I feel like he could get majority of the work over James Robinson because he's the first round pick. He was out all last year. You know, when teams pick you in the first round, they want to make a statement with you because they're like, this can't be a wasted pick for us. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So I like ETN. I like Robinson. I like Christian Kirk for the Jacksonville. And that's about it. Trevor Lawrence. I would fade Trevor Lawrence this week. I wouldn't start Trevor Lawrence. I like both of them running backs for the Jaguars this week.
All right. Okay, so let's get into the Falcons Rams. Falcons at the Rams. Rams are favored by 10.5, so they're expecting a blowout. Over under 47.5.
It's going to be a blowout.
Probably most of those points coming from the Rams. So let's see what's going on with the injuries in this one. We got Damian Williams for the Falcons is questionable, and then on the Rams, Brian Allen is out. Van Jefferson is questionable, and Kyron Williams, he's on IR. Speaking of yardage allowed, the fucking Falcons gave up 420 yards. Oh shit, but the Rams gave up 418 yards last week. A lot of yards to be had. But okay, so yeah, there's the obvious ones like the Matt Staffords, the Cooper Cups. Who else? Or how do you feel about some of the other skill positions in
This
this
could be
game?
a bounce back game for Allen Robinson. Last week he had 1.7 fantasy points. I feel
Hmm.
like they're going to try to get him involved. Twitter shamed that man last week.
They
Like
did.
they let him have it. So I feel like this is going to be a bounce back week for Allen Robinson. Um, the backfield of the Rams. I don't know if it's going to be Daryl Henderson or Cam Akers. Last week it was
Yeah,
Daryl Henderson, which
yeah,
was a major surprise for me. So I don't know what to do with those two guys. I don't know. Do you start Cam Akers this week? I would fade him
yeah. I
because
don't know.
after last week, can you trust him to
Yeah, you're
start?
gonna be
No.
upset if you start him and he
like,
gets like 6 carries or some
like
shit.
I couldn't trust Cam Akers. I have to, that's a wait and see for me. I'm fading that. Like I said, Allen Robinson. I think he has a bounce back week. As far as the Falcons, which Falcons player am I starting? Of course, you're starting Cordell Patterson. He had a big week. He had 120 in
Hmm.
the tug last week.
Hmm.
Drake London. I mean, I feel like not James, Jalen Ramsey, he's mad. So I feel like he's gonna be on Drake London this
Oh
week.
yeah, yeah. He was getting dogged
Like
by Stephon Diggs.
anyone going against Jalen Ramsey this week, be prepared. He's gonna be physical out
Yeah,
there. But
yeah.
I like Cordell Patterson, and I'm starting Drake London also. If you know you need a flex play, I'll throw Drake London in there for the Falcons. Jalen Ramsey doesn't travel, so I feel like Drake London is not gonna get all of Jalen Ramsey. So I'm starting those
He's gonna
guys
have
this
his
week.
opportunities. I hear
Yeah.
that. All right,
I
so
like the rookie Drake London though. He looked
okay.
good last week. So
What about Kyle Pitts? Am I starting Kyle Pitts or sitting him?
you're starting Kyle Pitts too. I forgot about that guy because he was quiet last week. But you're starting Kyle Pitts every week for
Oh,
sure.
okay.
You just gotta hope Marcus Mariota can get everybody the ball. That's the only thing with
Yeah.
the Falcons. It's the quarterback play. You never know what the quarterback play. You got a bad quarter. He's not a bad quarterback. He's just not like
Just
a
not a guy that
passer. You know what
feeds
I mean?
people. Yeah, yeah,
He's a RPO type of guy, read
yeah.
option type guy.
Yeah,
Like so, you never know each week what Mariota what he's going to do. But I'm starting Kyle Pitts also.
yeah.
This
He's
could
not
be
a.
this could be a lot of fantasy points scored in this game.
Yeah, there could be. There could be. I think they're gonna mostly come from the Ram
Come
side
from
of
the
the ball,
Rams,
but
yeah,
you know
they're
what I'm saying.
pissed. They're
All right,
pissed.
facts. Okay, I forgot one of the 1 o'clock games. Miami Dolphins at the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens are 3.5 point favorites. The over under is 44.5. As far as injuries go, they got Sethan Carter, questionable. Austin Jackson, questionable. Salvon Ahmed, questionable. Tanner Connor, questionable. Eric Rowe, questionable for the Dolphins. For the Ravens, they got Travis Jones, questionable. Marcus Peters, questionable. Ronnie Stanley, questionable. And Juwan James and Kyle Fuller on IR. Um, this one, shit, I loved what I saw out of Lamar Jackson last week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 213 yards and 3 TDs. Uh, I feel like there could be a lot of fantasy points in this one too. We got Tyreek Hill, we got Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, Mike Gesicki. You know what I'm saying? Like what's your thoughts on this one?
I mean, I feel like this is going to be a high scoring fantasy day. Mark Andrews didn't score a touchdown yet, 5 receptions for 52 yards last week. So I feel like he bounces back, gets a touchdown or two. Um, who else I like? Rashad Bateman. I don't know. Doomervay was the guy last week. Is it going to
Yeah.
be Doomervay again? Is it going to be Bateman? I feel like with Lamar Jackson, he's the type of guy, he spreads the ball. You never know with Lamar. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Lamar has never had like that go-to receiver, so I can't say he can't be like a Tom
This shit
Brady to
might be
get the
Mark
guy the
Andrews.
ball. Yeah, Mark Andrews is his go-to. So I feel
Yeah.
like Mark Andrews is going to be involved, but when it comes to like Rashad Bateman, Doomervay, I don't know. I feel like any given week it could be any of those guys, but I do like Mark Andrews. As far as the backfield for the Ravens, I'm staying away until Dobbins comes back. If you don't have Dobbins, then you stay away from that backfield. You don't want to start Mike Davis. No. You don't want to start that Kenyon Drake. No. I'm fading both of those guys this week. For the Dolphins, of course, you love Jalen Waddle. You love Tyreek Hill. As far as running backs for them, again, I'm fading those guys like Raheem Mostert, Chase Edmonds. No, I don't want those to
Chase
be my
Edmonds had
starters.
12 carries for 25 yards last week.
Yeah, you can't do
Ugh.
that.
Mm,
Chase Edmonds,
yeah.
he's the type of guy, he comes out the backfield. You want him to be a spell back type of guy. You don't want him to be your lead rusher. That's why
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised Raheem Mostert wasn't more involved.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess Chase Edmonds is their guy. But I'm starting all the receivers for the Miami, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill. You start those guys with confidence this week for sure.
Okay. All right. So next we got the Seahawks at 49ers. 49ers are 9-point favorites. The over under is 42 and a half. Um, I'm not gonna say I'm surprised by the spread because I think the Seahawks kind of uh like outplayed themselves last night on Monday Night
Yeah.
Football. Shout out to them. You know what I'm saying? Gino had a great game. He looked
Hey,
good.
Gino looked good out there, man. He
He
looked he
did look
looked
good. And
poised.
you said, like, you know what I'm saying, don't sleep, you like DK because you did like his relationship with Gino,
Mhm.
and he did get him the ball a lot. He just didn't really
It
do
was a
much
tough matchup
damage.
for DK last
Yeah,
night. Patrick
he didn't
Surtain
do
is
much
a great
damage.
corner.
Yeah, yeah, but I liked how that offense looked though. So against, and then also again, if we consider how the 49ers looked last week, maybe Vegas is thinking this is a bounce back spot for the 49ers.
Nah, I think it's a bounce back spot for the
Yeah, and
49ers.
they gotta get right and embarrass the
Yeah.
Seattle Seahawks. So as far as injuries go in this one, we got Artie. This is for the Seattle Seahawks. We got Artie Burns questionable, Damian Lewis questionable, Tyler Ott questionable, Kenneth Walker questionable, Jamal Adams out for the 49ers. They got Daniel Brunskill questionable, George Kittle questionable, Elijah Mitchell on IR, and is that, as far as you know, is George Kittle something to worry about? Is he
I mean,
gonna
he's still
play?
questionable right now, so I don't know. I feel like he's going to try to play this week. He was trying to play this week, week one, but they held him out. So
Oh, so he
I
did
feel like
not play last week.
now he did not play last week.
Oh, okay.
He was out. So I feel like George Kittle comes back week two. But as far
Hmm.
as Elijah Mitchell, that sets up you never Jeff Wilson Jr. They just added who did they add to the practice squad today? Marlon Mack. They added Marlon Mack to the practice squad today.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm staying away from those running backs just to wait and see who's going to get the carries over there with the Niners with Elijah Mitchell out. I feel like they need George Kittle back this week.
Yeah.
I feel like bounce back game for Trey Lance this week. I'm high on Trey Lance. I'm not gonna let one week get me off the high horse of Trey Lance.
Yeah.
I'm staying on it. So I feel like Trey Lance has a bounce back week. Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. I feel like the Niners are gonna come to play this week. I like the negative. I like the -9 for the Niners this week over the Seahawks.
Yeah. You see that? You see them blowing them out?
I see him blowing them out. I
Yeah.
feel like the Seahawks played. I feel like Geno, he played well last week, but I feel like the 49ers defense is better than Denver. I feel like they're going to bring it this week. They're playing at home. I'm fading D. I got DK on my team this week. I'm fading DK. I'm not starting him this week.
You don't like the matchup?
I don't like the matchup.
I mean, they're gonna be down. They're gonna be playing from behind
That's true, but I mean,
potentially.
the only reason I'm not starting because I got Gabe Davis for the Bills. I like him more over
Oh, okay.
DK
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah.
But if you can fade DK, I'll fade him until I need to see more. I got to see more. Last
What
night
about?
he got
Now go ahead. Go ahead.
he got 7 targets last night. But I got to see more from DK. I got to see more from the Steelers offense. Gino looked okay, but I like Rashad Penny though. I'm starting
Yeah.
Rashad Penny for Seattle. He got good work last week. I mean, last night he looked good running between the tackles. Looked like he's back from that ACL injury, so I like Rashad Penny.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if there's any value in any of the other skill positions for Seattle. Like, Will Disley had 43 yards and a touchdown
I
last
mean, Will
night.
Disley, he no,
Scampered for that little
yeah, scammer
38
for the
yarder.
yeah, exactly, wide open. You got to look at things
And
like
Gino
that.
had to evade the sack on that joint. That was a
Exactly.
nice play though. It was a
It
nice play
was. It was a hell of a
when I
play. You
saw it
look at
live.
things
Yeah.
because Noah Font is their starting tight end. Like
Oh,
Disley is
okay.
not the starter. So
Oh, I didn't
I
even.
mean,
Okay,
he's
yeah,
gonna
I
get
forgot about Noah
burned,
Fant.
but
Yeah,
nah, you don't start
no,
Disley. You don't start
value,
Fant
no
either. I'm
value
not
there.
starting Fant
Yeah.
either. The only player
Oh,
I would start from Seattle is Rashad Penny and of course DK. Tyler Lockett, I'm fading that too because Russ is a big arm guy. Russ used to get him out the way, throwing the ball down the field. No Russ, I don't like Lockett at all.
yeah. And
I
I'll
wouldn't have
just
drafted him this
mention,
year.
yeah, I'll just mention before we move on that the line for the spread for this game has actually just moved to 10. So San
Oh,
Francisco's favored by 10 now.
sheesh.
Yeah.
What does Vegas know?
Yeah. Yeah. Shit. They're just like, let's just people are gonna take that 9 because 9 is a good number. You know what I'm
Nine
saying?
is a
Because
good number.
it's a touchdown and a field goal. 10 is like actually they need more than a touchdown and a field goal now. So
Yeah, no, I'm
that's
staying away from that one.
yeah, I might stay away from 10. It's a crazy number. All
10 is
right,
high
so
in
the
the
next
NFL.
one, yeah, the next one we got Bengals at Cowboys. This would be a lot more interesting if Dak was playing, but Cincinnati is favored by 7, and the over under is 43 and a half. Let me pull up the injuries. So for Cincinnati, they got T. Higgins on the injury report as questionable, Devin Asasi as questionable, and then for um, Dallas, they got Connor McGovern, questionable, Terrell Basham, questionable, Michael Gallup, questionable, Dak Prescott out, Jaron Curse out. Yeah, so the Dak Prescott news is huge. Who is behind him? Do you know the quarterback?
Um, damn.
Let me see if I can pull up the depth chart real quick.
What's his name? They like him.
Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush. Because he
Yeah.
came in last year and did all right when Dak got hurt.
Yeah.
But
So are we? Yeah. Go ahead. My bad.
you're fading the Cowboys players. I mean, you're starting CD Lamb, of course, because you spent
Yeah.
like a high draft
Early
capital
pick.
on him.
Yeah.
But Zeke, I'm fading Zeke. I mean, you're starting Zeke because I
Yeah.
feel like the Cowboys are
They
going to have
gotta
to
go
run the
somewhere.
ball. They
Yeah,
got to
they
go
gotta go
somewhere. They're going to have to
somewhere.
run the ball. But you also got Tony Pollard back
I
there.
about to say, what
Also,
about Tony? You starting him or sitting him?
I'm sitting Tony Pollard. The only two guys I would start is Zeke and CD Lamb for the Cowboys.
No Dalton Schultz.
Yeah,
You
you're
probably
starting
don't got
Dalton
another
Schultz.
tight end.
You don't
You
got
probably
another
don't got
tight
another
end.
tight end.
But still, like,
Just don't expect anything out of these
don't
guys.
expect a lot because Dalton Schultz. Cooper Rush might be
That might
trying
be
to
a
get it
security blanket.
to the tight end,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It's a wait and see for me for Dallas. But with the Bengals, you're starting. I'm not sure if T. Higgins is going to be out there, but you're starting Jamar Chase for sure. You're starting Joe Mixon. You're starting Joe Burrow. I like the Bengals 3-headed monster this week. If T. Higgins is out there, you're starting T. Higgins. I feel like it's going to be Dallas is going to give Cincy the ball a lot. When you don't got your starting quarterback,
They can have a lot of
three and
offensive
outs,
opportunities.
a lot of fumbles and interceptions. So I feel like the Bengals. This is the week you want a Bengals player. I wish I had Jamar Chase, but I don't. You're starting them all. You're starting all the Bengals fantasy relevant players this week.
Yeah, and the Bengals, I feel like they got to bounce back this week. You know what I'm saying?
They need a win.
They did not want to lose to the Steelers last week, so I'm sure they got a bad taste in their mouth right now.
All their fantasy players still went off last week. Even
they did. They had great offensive showings. Like I said, Pittsburgh gave up 400 plus yards. So like they had to have had great offensive showings. Let's move on to the Houston Texans, the 0-1 Houston Texans at the 0-1 Denver Broncos. The Broncos are favored by 9.5. Sheesh. Another potential blowout. Over under is 44. As far as the this was what the Broncos Texans, yeah. Okay, so as far as injuries go, we got Mario Addison, he's on IR. Rasheem Green, questionable for the Texans. For the Broncos, Kwan Williams, questionable. Josie Jewell, questionable. Billy Turner, questionable. And Quinn Meinerz, whatever. Doubtful. So, not whatever. No disrespect. No disrespect. I hate when people mispronounce my name, but I just can't see that. I can't read that. So this one, how do we feel about Russell Wilson? I mean, he didn't have a terrible game. He threw for 340 yards and a touchdown. And also, of course, is Russell Wilson a must start?
Yeah, he's a must start.
He's a must
start. Against
I know he's a must start. But also against I'm looking at that. As I was about to say that, I was like, oh wait, they're playing the Texans, so yeah, regardless of what he did last week, you got to start it.
You're starting Russ.
And I was going to say he didn't even have a bad game last week. He just
going against your old team, Like playing in Seattle, you know how
Mhm.
the 12th man is hard to play in
Yeah.
Seattle.
They're gonna
So
make it their focus for you to
they're
not go in there and
focused,
beat
like
them. You know what I'm
for
saying?
sure.
Yeah.
It's hard to play in Seattle, but I like all the Broncos players. I like Cortland Sutton this week. I like Jerry Judy. I like
Jerry
Javante.
Judy had 4 receptions, 102 in the tut last week. So
Yeah, I like
yeah, he
Javante Williams, and I like Melvin Gordon. I like all the Broncos fantasy relevant players this week. I feel like they all. I'm not gonna say they're all gonna score a touchdown, but they all have potential to score a touchdown this week. For the Texans, I like Brandon Cooks. That's the only guy I like for the
that's
Texans.
about it.
Damian
That
Pierce,
Damian Pierce and Rex Burkhead matchup looked like it favored Rex Burkhead.
yeah, like Rex is
Bro
Rex
had
is that
12
guy
carries.
that he's
Yeah,
just like frustrating when you have another running back and then you got
yeah,
Rex. He's always
yeah,
involved, like because
yeah.
he's involved in the pass game. So Damian Pierce, I feel like he'll get more work later in the season, but right now I'm fading him for someone else because you shouldn't have took him too high. He should have been like a fifth, sixth round. So you should have somebody else in there to start over Pierce. So for the Texans, I'm only confident in Brandon Cooks this week.
Yeah, I hear that. Okay, so let's move on
I'm
to
not having confidence in Brandon Cooks because
yeah,
Patrick Surtain gonna be on that shit.
confident is
So
actually the word.
yeah,
Only one I'm gonna actually like
you start
waste breath on. You know what I'm saying? I
exactly.
hear that. So okay, so let's go to Arizona Cardinals at Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders are 5.5 point favorites. The over under is 51.5. So they're expecting a lot of offense in this one. As far as the uh, injury report goes, and also I should have said this in the beginning, but like this is just the injury report for Tuesday. The shit's gonna change as the week goes,
Yeah.
and we do this show again on Sunday, so we'll have a more updated um injury report. But these are just things to what I'm saying take into consideration. So we got Marco Wilson questionable, Trayvon Mullen questionable, Rondale Moore questionable, Justin Pugh questionable, JJ Watt questionable for the Cardinals. For the Raiders, Denzel Perryman questionable, Trayvon Moring questionable, Andrew Billings questionable, Andre James questionable, Anthony Everett on IR. So yeah, shit, a lot of yards given up by the Cardinals last week, 488. Oh, they played the
They played the
Chiefs. Yeah, so
Chiefs.
yeah, they gave up a lot. The Raiders also gave up a lot of yards. They gave up 355. But yeah, fantasy relevancy in this one for you.
For the Raiders, I mean, of course, Devontae Adams
You got a lot of work last week,
got
bro.
a lot of work.
He
Derek
had like
Carr loves.
damn near 20,000 targets last week.
They go back to Fresno State. He loves that
Yeah,
guy. But I feel like this is the bounce back game for Hunter Renfro. As much as I've been down on Hunter Renfro in the offseason, I feel like he bounces back against the Cardinals and scores a touchdown this week. I feel like Derek Carr knows he has to get him involved for the win. Darren Waller, I feel like this is another bounce back game for Darren Waller. I feel like this is going to be a lot of offense play for both teams. So I like Hunter Renfro. I like Devontae Adams, of course, and I like Darren Waller. As far as Josh Jacobs, I feel like this should be a good game for Josh Jacobs also. I feel like this is going to be a high scoring game. They got it at 51.5 over under. So I feel like it's going to be a lot of offense involved in this game for the Cardinals. I like James Conner. Um, I like James
I mean,
Conner
Kyler
and
Murray
Kyler Murray.
led the team in. He led the team in rushing last week
Yeah,
with 29 rushing yards. So like,
yeah.
what did James Conner do? Nothing.
Nothing. I think they went down early though. They went down early in
Oh yeah,
Kansas
they
City,
did.
so
Yeah, they
so
went
they
down
they
big
went away.
early.
They went away from James Conner. I feel like this one's going to be closer, so I feel like Conner's going to be utilized this game. As far as receiving for Arizona, Marquise Brown. I feel like this could
Yeah.
be another. He played okay last week. I feel like this can be a big one for Marquise Brown. AJ Green, you never know. Who knows? He might score a touchdown. But if
Yeah.
players I'm starting for the Cardinals, I'm starting Marquise Brown, I'm starting James Conner, I'm starting Kyler Murray. For the Raiders, go ahead and start all the Raiders. You can start Hunter Renfro, Devontae Adams, um, Darren Waller, and Josh Jacobs. So I like
Yeah.
all the Raiders fantasy relevant players this week. I feel like bounce back game. I feel like both teams need a win. I don't know who's going to get the win,
Yeah.
but if I had to choose, I'm going with the Raiders at home.
I think I'm going Raiders at home as well. This line also moved to 6 since the start of this recording. So
Mhm.
That's yeah. So I think Vegas is they like the Raiders a lot. All right, let's move on to Chicago Bears at the Green Bay Packers. Packers are favored by 10 points, and the over under is 43. As far as injuries go, um, the Chicago Bears have Velus Jones Jr. marked as questionable. The Green Bay Packers got Quay Walker questionable, David Bakhtiari questionable, um, Elton Jenkins questionable, Alan Lazard questionable, Chris Barnes on the IR. Um, that Bakhtiari, he's a pretty significant piece on
Need
the
him
offensive
back
line. Yeah,
ASAP.
is he? Yeah, how's your guy? Yeah, he had your guy running for his life back there. Um, is what's do you know like the situation with him? Like, is he likely to return this week
I'm
or
not
what? Do you
sure.
know? Okay.
I'm
What
not
about
even
Alan
sure.
Lazard? Is he likely to play this
Lazard,
week?
they,
Do you
they
know?
expect him to play this week.
Okay.
They expect him to play.
Okay.
I saw reports. They need him back as soon as
So,
possible.
how do you feel? How do you feel about Justin Fields going up against Green Bay's defense? Green Bay, real quick, they allow 400 plus yards. They allow 403 yards last week against who they? Oh, they had to play the Vikings.
Vikings.
Who had a
I
good
don't know. I feel,
offense?
I feel like the Packers, they know they need to win this week. I feel like the defense is going to buckle down. I
Yeah,
feel like Justin Fields is going to have a long day. They got the win against the Niners, but they might be on their high horse right now. I feel
yeah,
like
they're happy about that
The
one.
Packers are going to bring them back down to earth this week. I feel like the Packers defense is going to come out striking, ready to play. What guys do I like from the Bears? David Montgomery. I don't know. Khalil Herbert looked good last week. He looked better. Montgomery got the carries, but Herbert looked more efficient with his carries. He had 9 for 45. I think David Montgomery had like 20 for 37 or something. He had a bad game.
Hmm.
Herbert scored the touchdown, but you're starting David Montgomery for sure. Darnell Mooney, you're starting him. For the Packers, you're starting Aaron Rodgers, AJ Dillon, and Aaron Jones. I wouldn't start any of those receivers yet. It's a wait and see thing. If Lazard plays, you can throw him in there at the flex maybe for a prayer, but I'm not confident in any receivers for the Packers. I feel like Aaron Rodgers is going to go in there, spread the ball around, and try to find the open man and try to find something within those receivers. I feel like no one's made themselves the guy yet.
Yeah,
So he's still a wait and see with the Packers receivers. I'm starting the running backs though for the Packers. That's it.
yeah. They had Aaron Jones leading the team in rushing yards with 49, and AJ Dillon led the team in receiving yards with 48.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. So
But yeah, there's not really much to say about any Green Bay Packer wide receivers right now. So all right, let's move on to we got up next Vikings at the Eagles. The Eagles are favored by 1.5. Over under is 51.5. I'm not gonna hold you. I like the Vikings right here as
yeah, I like the
underdogs.
Vikings too.
I like the Vikings as underdogs. I'm always looking for the underdog play, and that's one that I like. I'm not gonna hold you. So all right, let's look at the injury report. Andrew Booth Jr. is marked as questionable. Lewis Sign is questionable, and that's for the Vikings. For the Eagles, they got Derek Barnett on IR. Um, yeah. So let's see here. So yeah, how you like Jalen Hurts against this Minnesota Vikings defense?
I like Jalen Hurts. I feel like before the season came out, started, I say Jalen Hurts is going to be an MVP candidate this year. So I
You
like
did say
Hurts.
that.
I like Hurts a lot. I feel like this is going to be a high scoring game between the Eagles and the Vikings. I like Miles Sanders again. I feel like they got to get Miles Sanders involved. Last year they failed to do so. He didn't score one touchdown. And I told y'all last week on the show on Wednesday that he would score a touchdown this week.
And
He
you
scored.
did.
He had 96 yards in the tug last week. So I like Miles Sanders again. I like AJ Brown. I like Devontae Smith to get more involved this game. They got to get him
Hmm.
involved.
He's got to.
Um, I like all the fantasy relevant players for the Eagles this week. For the Minnesota Vikings, I like Dalvin Cook and I like Justin Jefferson. Adam Thielen, he's falling off. He's getting
He
older.
is.
He's getting older. He's a touchdown dependent guy. So if he doesn't score a touchdown, I don't like Thielen this week
What
when
did
it
he do
comes to
last
getting the
week? Because I
yard.
know he didn't score a touchdown.
I think he had like 4 receptions for like 36 yards or something.
Yeah,
It was a
yeah.
Justin
It was.
Jefferson show.
Yeah, it
Like
was. It
that
was
guy, that
absolutely.
guy is he's amazing.
Absolutely. I mean, like Thielen didn't do anything, and neither did Irv Smith. So it's like, where were all the yards? You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson. So I hear that. All right. So the last game on the slate. Oh yeah, we got two Monday night games. So that
I
Vikings Eagles
forgot
game is a
about
Monday
that.
night, and then we got this Tennessee Titans at Buffalo Bills. Bills are favored by 10 points. The over under is 49 and a half. Um,
What did
let's
Derrick
see real
Henry do
quick.
last week?
Derrick Henry didn't do anything. Well, he had 21 carries or 82 yards.
Okay.
That's it. Which seems underwhelming for him, but like,
Hmm.
so on the injury report for the Titans, they got Ola Adenyi as questionable, Jamarco Jones questionable, Lonnie Johnson questionable. And then for the Buffalo Bills, they got Tommy Doyle questionable, Quentin Morris questionable. Um, Stephon Diggs had a big game last week. Gabe Davis had a pretty big game last week. Josh Allen had a big game last week.
That
Uh,
continues this week.
that continues this week. Yeah,
The
go
Titans
ahead.
defense is nothing to be scared of. I feel like Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, even I like even like Devin Singletary in this game. He looked good with the carries he got last week.
Mhm.
So I feel like all three. I feel like those three guys are going to come out. You're starting Gabe Davis. You're starting Diggs with confidence. And if you need a running back, Elijah Mitchell got hurt. If you need to start Singletary, I'm starting Singletary this week. Also, for the Titans, the only guy I'm confident in starting, I'm not even confident,
Yeah,
is Derrick Henry.
yeah,
Like, who else? Traylon Burks? No. Robert Woods? No. I'm not starting any of those guys. So, yeah, Derrick Henry's the only Titans. I'm not starting Ryan Tannehill. No. So, yeah, Derrick Henry's the only guy I'm starting this week for the Titans.
yeah. I hear that, and like you said, like it's not even like a confidence thing because the Buffalo Bills they have one of the best rush defenses in the
Hmm.
league.
I think they have the
They
best.
only,
I would go on the limb and say they have the best defense
yeah,
in the league, like
yeah,
overall.
yeah,
So,
yeah, for sure, for sure. They only gave up 52 rush yards to all of the Rams last week.
hmm
So, yeah, I mean, Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry, so like it
yeah.
don't
So you
matter.
never know.
You never know.
You're starting Derrick Henry.
Yeah, you never know, but like, yeah, it's just something to think about. So,
Hmm.
all right, so that's the slate for this game. We're about an hour in. Do you want to do the buy low, sell high still?
When I was the waiver wire,
Oh, the waiver wire. You want to do the waiver wire still?
up to you.
All right. Yeah, let's just we can just run through it real
Run
quick.
through it. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't gotta spend too long on everything, but let's go ahead start with first guy on the waiver wire we got is Carson Wentz.
My main man Carson Wentz came out 313 yards, 4 touchdowns. He did throw 2 interceptions, but he got you 27.7 fantasy points. If you got Dak Prescott on your team, or even if you don't, you just want to pick up a quarterback off the waivers, Carson Wentz is a good guy to go with for a bye week fill in. Or, if you got a guy like Trey Lance, that's your starter. Now you need a different passer because of his week one. I feel like Carson Wentz is a good guy to go to. Um,
Position rank 3. Does that mean he
yeah,
finished as the third best quarterback last week?
yeah, he did.
Yeah. Okay,
Carson
Carson.
Wentz is up there.
Okay,
So,
Carson. That means that he was. That means
like
like
I,
Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen
yeah.
are like the only. Damn. Okay, Carson.
So you need a quarterback, even if you don't need a quarterback, you just want to stash somebody. Carson Wentz is a
Yeah.
good stash right now.
Yeah. All right, I hear that. All right, let's move on to our next one. We got I'm gonna pull up Jalen Warren.
Jalen Warden. He's Jalen Warden. He's just a stash guy right now, just in case Najee Harris doesn't play. He'll be the
Mm-hmm.
starter for Pitt. So if you want to take a chance on him, just in case Najee's not out there, um, pick up Jalen Warren.
Yeah,
He's just a stash guy right now, just in case.
yeah, for sure. All right. Next is another another commander. We got Curtis Samuel.
My man Curtis Sam, he looked good last week.
He
Uh,
did. Even in the
you know,
offseason, he was like taking care.
yeah,
He was looking very like they're trying to get him involved. Or
yeah,
preseason, I mean.
he was out all last. He was in and out last year with an injury, so he came back this year with something to prove. He had 8 receptions, 55 yards. I think he added another 20 rushing yards in the tug this week. Curtis Samuels, him and Carson Wentz chemistry, they look good together out there.
Mm-hmm.
Curtis Samuel, he's a do-it-all type guy. Swift Army knife is what we call him. So I would use a waiver spot for Curtis Samuel this week. You can even start him this week. We're going against Detroit. If you want to pick up Curtis and start him, this is the week. Take your chance on him.
Yeah, I hear that. All right, so let's get into we got next. We got Jamal Williams. He had 2 tuds last week.
You got Jamal Williams, another guy. He's available in a lot of leagues. He's only owned in 36% of ESPN
He had
leagues.
28 yards.
28 yards and 2 tugs. He's getting the red zone carries because DeAndre Swift is a great running back. But when it comes to that red zone, you put in Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams is a leader of the team. So you got to use him. He's the leader of the team. So they're going to give him his red zone carries. So if you want to stash a guy, he's, just in case Swift gets hurt, you never know. He's a good stash guy right now. And then start him if you need him on the bye week.
Yeah, I hear that. All right.
Running backs are hard to come by, man.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Stash him if you need to. All right. Next up, our guy that we were just talking about, Julio Jones.
Julio, as everyone knows, Chris Godwin is out with a hamstring. They say he could be out multiple weeks. Julio looked good with him in there. Imagine when Godwin is not in there, Julio should see a lot of extra targets. He's Julio Jones. Like,
no, what more can I say?
Potential Hall of Famer. So you want to scoop Julio if he's available in your leagues. He's owned in 43% of ESPN leagues, so he's available in a lot of leagues. So scoop Julio if he's available in your league for sure.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we got. Maybe just did Julio. Robbie Anderson.
Robbie Anderson, another guy we talked about earlier. He had 102 in the tug. I know he scored a 75-yard touchdown, but I think he had 8 targets. He had the most targets, yards, and receptions on the team. So Baker Mayfield is looking for Robbie Anderson out there. As you know, in the past, he's been a good player. Last year, he fell off a little bit, but I feel like he's coming back this year for vengeance. So I would scoop Robbie Anderson, not to start him this week, but just, another stash guy, just to have him on your bench. If you need to get rid of somebody got hurt, put Robbie Anderson on your bench and see what happens.
All right, next we got Darrell Henderson.
Darrell Henderson. It was surprising.
Yeah.
It surprised me. I thought Cam Akers was coming in the guy. Darrell Henderson got 13 carries to Akers' 3 carries. He played majority of the snaps. He looked like the starter for the Rams. So the Rams last week didn't look too good, but if Darrell Henderson is going to remain the starter, he's a good guy to pick up. He's only owned in 46% of ESPN's 46% of ESPN league. So you're picking up Darrell Henderson for sure. He's a starting running back for one of the best offenses in the league.
Yeah, I was gonna say that that 13 carries, 47 yards, kind of like not worried me, but just made me be like, But we just said how like they played Buffalo, and Buffalo's defense is probably like the most.
It'll be better days for Darrell Henderson if he remains a starter. I don't know what Cam Akers did. I think the coach said they need to see more from him in practice. So maybe he's not out there like he's being too cocky, or I don't know. But that surprised me a lot. I thought Cam Akers, like people drafted Cam Akers in the 2nd, 3rd round of fantasy football drafts.
Yeah. Like, he's supposed to be getting most of the work.
He's supposed to be the guy. Like he's supposed to be the guy this year. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think they were saying too with McVay. It's like sometimes he just straight up lies. Like, you know what I'm saying? As far as like, like this is gonna be our guy, and then it's somebody else. Like, you know what I'm saying? So they've also said like just be wary. Sure. Yeah. All right.
Another guy, Tyler Higbee. He only had 5 for 39, but the guy had 11 targets, and he's a tight end. You don't see that a lot from tight ends. So if you're looking for a tight end, you need a guy. Pick up Tyler Higbee. He's owned in 49% of ESPN leagues. So he's another guy I would pick up, and I would start him this week if he's available in your league and you need a tight end.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not mad at Tyler.
11 targets for a tight end.
11 targets. That's
that a lot.
that's like Darren Waller numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, let's go to Hayden Hurst.
Hayden Hurst is another guy. For the Bengals, if you need a tight end, he had 5 for 46. He had 8 targets. Like we said before, like 8 targets for a tight end is good. But I had
Mm-hmm.
Mark Andrews, and he only seen 7 targets last week, and this guy seen
Yeah.
8. So
Yeah.
you know what I
And
mean. So
Mark Andrews
Hayden Hurst,
would be like the top of the top.
exactly. So Hayden Hurst should continue to be involved in this offense. He's a starting tight end. Joe Burrow's going to try to find him, especially if T. Higgins is shaking up right now. You need a tight end for this week. Hayden Hurst is one to look at for sure on the waiver wire.
All right. Next up we got Jeff Wilson Jr.
Jeff Wilson Jr. We talked about this earlier. Elijah Mitchell went down with an injury. He could be out multiple weeks. They
He gonna
did
be
pick
on
up
the
Marlon Mack
yeah.
off the waivers. I mean, they added Marlon Mack to the practice squad. I would think that he'll be activated from the practice squad, so he can be a guy that can come in and take carries away from Jeff Wilson. But if he's not activated, then you start Jeff Wilson. He has had success in the past as a starter for the Niners. I remember 2 years ago, I was in the championship. I started Jeff Wilson Jr. because he was starting. My man gave me like 30 points. So
Jesus.
Jeff Wilson, he's a good player.
Yeah.
You know, when he gets his opportunity, and he might get his opportunity here with San Fran. I like Kyle Shanahan's offense. He knows how to get running backs in open space, and Jeff Wilson knows what to do when he gets in open space.
All right. Let's get into we got next Khalil Herbert. I think we talked about him earlier.
Khalil Herbert, he's a guy you have to pick him up and stash him. He should not be available, and so he's only owned in 25% of ESPN leagues. This guy had 9 for 45 in a tug. He looked way better than David Montgomery. I feel like they're going to have to get Khalil Herbert on the field. And if David Montgomery goes down, he's a bona fide running back one. So you want to pick this guy up now. Like if anybody you want to pick up off these waivers is him, just because you got
put a gold star next to this one.
You got to stash this guy. He has to be owned in all leagues. Like you have to pick this guy up. Khalil Herbert for sure.
Facts. All right. And then the last one we had on the list was Mr. Matt Ryan.
Matty Ice. He had 352 with a tug and an interception.
Damn, second most in the league.
Yeah, he only had 15.2 fantasy points. But like I said, Dak went down. If you're looking for a stash quarterback for a bye week, I feel like Matt Ryan's a good guy to go and pick up right now. Playing for the Colts, like he had 52 passing attempts last week. 52. Yeah. And Jonathan Taylor still had 31 rushes. So
yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy.
Even though the game went to overtime, they're still going to throw the ball. Michael Pittman Jr. looked good. So I like Matt Ryan just as a stash guy to put on your bench for bye weeks or if an injury happens.
Yeah.
Or if you had Dak. Dak is, you pick up Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz. Those are the guys you want to find on the waivers. And you're going to find him. He's only owned and 24% of ESPN leagues. So
yeah,
he's out there. Pick him up.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so that's gonna wrap up the waiver wires. That's gonna wrap up the show as well. So we'll see y'all tomorrow. We got our live show. Tweez will be in the house as well. So make sure y'all tune in for that 7 p.m. Make sure you subscribe, follow the channel, the fantasy on YouTube, and then you see all of our socials, the Fantasy SJT on Twitter, the Fantasy with SJT on Instagram, the Fantasy SJT on TikTok. And yeah, we're gonna see y'all tomorrow for the live show at 7 p.m. on Wednesday.
Make sure y'all tune in, man. We got the stardom sims for y'all. If y'all seen last week, we hit on majority of both stardoms and sit-ems. So yeah, man. Tune in.
Yeah, no, y'all definitely did y'all things with the stardoms and sit-ems like y'all usually do. So we're just gonna keep it going this year. And yeah, we're gonna see everybody tomorrow.